darn buttons, man. What is going on, guys? How is everyone doing today out there in the magical world of the internet? My name again is Jay Kraft. Thanks for tuning in today. Let's see who we have in with our pre-show today. We got Money from Mars. I always appreciate you being there early. You caught some pre-show bloopers. Aaron Kluge, you get the nice little hand emoji. I appreciate you jumping on in. And Pam, as always, please be safe out there in Florida. Pam, I know it's getting a little bit dicey. I'm reading your messages right now. I am super happy with this new computer setup because I can see Facebook in real time over here at the side. I don't know where Mindy is. Somebody has to do a roll call here soon too, which would be great over in a group chat. And no, Pam, I don't think the storm is going to be that bad where you are at. Hello to you, FGS. Thank you as always for jumping into the chat again. You know what I should do? You know, it'd be really smart. I have these two windows, and one has my YouTube chat. I have it all the way off to the side. I should move it here to the center. There we go. That looks way better. Way, way better. But yeah, I hope everyone had a fantastic week this week. We got a chill show in order. Beth says, "Hi Jay, making dinner and listening. Hope you had an excellent week." You know, I would say this week was superb. Definitely was. A lot of highs. I can't really think of any lows this week. I wish productivity was higher, but I guess that's the trade-off when you do things that you enjoy. You don't get as much work done. Even though I love my work, don't get me wrong, it just didn't all get done. Let's get this session restarted on stream labels. For those of you who are jumping in, please don't forget to hit that like button. It definitely helps us out. We are aiming for 200 likes again this week. Last week we got 99. Week before that I think we got 170. So still aiming for 200. Appreciate anyone's help. Hello to you, Donna, as well. A&M Hunter, welcome. First time seeing you here in the chat. Happy to have you. Don't forget, guys, Q&A. If you guys have any questions before the show starts, don't be afraid to ask them. We're going to have a good news show today. We're going to be covering some more information, more news. We're going to be talking about Amazon, eBay, Target. We're going to be touching base on Shopify a little bit, chatting about the UPU. Richard Eberhardt, 2 weeks in a row. Happy to have you again, buddy. I'm assuming that you don't have work today. Future Fortunes, aka Robert, thanks for dropping in as well. Happy to have you too. Shazad, I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. I hope you appreciate our 1 hour earlier time slot. Thank you for dropping in tonight. No work for Richard. Good to hear. Good to hear. So yeah, those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this is our pre-show right now. We're just going to kind of BS and have a little bit of fun before the main show starts. Let me get this camera fixed really quick. I don't know if there's something like technically wrong with the camera. I'm thinking maybe the light's crooked back here or something, but everything looks just a little bit off. Could just be me being overly particular about these things. Don't forget, guys, too, if you haven't done so yet, follow us on Instagram. This is a great time to do it. I'll go ahead and put a link in the comments right now. You'll have an opportunity to submit questions. Next week's show is going to be a super chill. It's going to be like I don't know. It's going to be half work, half relaxing, which I guess is kind of most of our shows. I wanted to have a full-on birthday bash, and then eBay dropped the damn bombshell that they're going to be releasing the fall seller update the day before my birthday. So I have a feeling that that's where a good chunk of my effort's going to go, is to getting a video as well as some content put together for that. So we'll see. Nothing like spending your birthday tearing down a 20-page update for eBay. And God only knows what they're going to be hiding inside of it this year. It's going to be interesting. We are running a higher bit rate tonight too, guys. We're going to be running at 5,000 bits instead of 4,000 bits, so you should notice a 20% increase in the video quality, and we'll see if the computer can handle it or not. But yeah, I was hoping to do just a real chill AMA, do some item showcase as well. We have a bunch of items I don't know if we're going to get to all of them tonight. I know we say that sometimes, but I barely, just this last week, finished the photography for all the estate sale items, and I still haven't even listed them all yet. I've been dating somebody new, and it is just eating up so much of my work time. And don't get me wrong, like I'm happy. It's a pleasant escape from the mundane task that is listing items on eBay. But I do need to get caught up, and I do want to keep buying more stuff. Who do we got in here? Let me see if my internet will hold up for the show. Hopefully it will. Don't forget that you can always adjust your resolution settings. Just click on that little wheel, and you can change your resolution if you're having issues with lag or anything like that. And Mindy, I really do hope you have that thing copy pasted and you're not manually typing out those names each week. I found someone? That's a question someone's asking. I am currently dating somebody. We will see where it goes. Cautiously optimistic, as I feel all people should be, but we've been dating for a little over a month and a half now, and we went on a really great day trip yesterday. We had a great time and did some sourcing, and she stumbled across $1,500 worth of profit on her second thrift store that we went to, and we'll be taking a look at the item that she found, which is an item that I historically looked at 3 to 5 years ago and wrote off because it wasn't worth anything then. And it was really crazy to see the market have such a violent uptick on such a basic item. So, and if you guys are curious, does she have the thrifting bug? And the answer is no. She does not have that. She does not have that bug within her. But maybe it'll take. We can all be dreamers, I suppose. But yeah, as I was saying with that Instagram link that I put up there a moment ago, if you guys haven't done so yet, please go follow us on Instagram. If you'd like a follow back, let us know. We'll do what we can do for you. And you can submit questions for next week's AMA early if you'd like. You can ask questions about me, questions about the show, or questions about reselling. We'll be happy to answer every single one of them next week. A little woohoo. They never do. There are some girls that like thrifting. They're just few and far between. Now, finding a girl that likes thrifting that's within my dating age range, though, is a whole nother story. That's completely different. What I'm going to do, I'm going to save this message that you did, Mindy, and I'm just going to grab all that text off of it and then save it to a notepad for you. Make life easy. I think it'll work that way. On a scale of 1 to 10 today, my sales have been a 0. She is exceptionally understanding of the work I do. I think she sees a lot of pros in the work that I do and not really too many cons. I think with the exception of this show, the fact that my hours are as flexible as they are is something that's fairly enticing to most women, so... yeah. On top of that, I also got a notification from Amazon today that my account is in jeopardy because I have a 2.2% return rate right now because I've had absolute horrible people refunding out just like the most cut and dry items you could imagine. Sealed, correct catalog, everything perfect about them, requesting refunds, and it's destroying my numbers right now. So I got to get on the phone with Amazon for several hours tomorrow to try and get that sorted out. What I would pay for some Amazon concierge. Congrats, Renee, on that first Etsy item. I am so sore today, guys. 4 hours of driving yesterday, 3 hours of rock climbing. I am exhausted right now. But we are going to have a strong show today, right? Great showing, high energy. Turn it up to 11. I've sold 0 on eBay today. I've sold 0 on Amazon today. I think we're all going to have those days. Half the problem is I'm not feeding the beast. I haven't listed another item on eBay in going on 3 weeks now. And I want to be clear too, I don't want to insinuate that somehow by listing more items, you're somehow going to boost your sales overall. I'm just speaking law of averages by having more items available for sale online. That's all I'm saying. I've got like 10 customer returns in the last 2 weeks, and I got no reasons for them yet either. Every time I go to pull a return report, it doesn't give me any information at all. I always have to call in to get it for some reason on Amazon. Yeah, I just talked with Pam, Mindy. 2 minutes till the main show, guys. Last chance to get your snacks and beverages. Get your PayPal ready, you know. Fire in some hot donations and super chats. Always appreciated. Gotta have that chapstick too. This is my jam right here. I tried to buy this song from the creator, and he won't even sell me licensing rights. He just wants royalty tags in my description, which he's the only content creator that I give royalty rights to in my description. And I think I offered him $600 for this, which I felt would have been a good price to pay to own it. But And A&M Hunter, I'll be honest with you, if you haven't joined our Facebook group yet, I'm going to go ahead and leave the link in the description as well. Our Facebook group is an absolutely fantastic location to ask that question and get people's feedback and experience regarding the differences or just how they feel about selling on Mercari. And Aaron, we had hired somebody to do an entire album of music for us. We're looking for a complete, like, maybe 10 to 15 songs that we can wrap our entire brand around, and just everything can be nice and consistent the whole way through. So if you have the ability to do that, I'd be happy to negotiate with something with you to get that done. The last person we had to let them go because after 3.5 weeks, they had 1 song done. And I just told them, you know, I just don't have time to wait for everything to get finished by you. And thank you, Brandy. That is correct, everyone. All 23 of you. I don't know where everyone's at. Maybe they're waiting for 5 o'clock. Maybe they're waiting for that big intro music. Maybe they don't like my shirt today. I have no clue what it is. Guys, 23 of you here, 17 likes. Let's go ahead and get this party started. And I will say thank you for that super chat before we even get started. $5 super chat from Shazad Hussein says, I catch the video tomorrow. Need to get some sleep. Yeah, I think it's midnight where you're at. So get some rest, buddy. Thank you so much for the donation. I always appreciate it. It's actually going to go towards our birthday bash that we should be doing next week. No clue. And if we do, I'll make sure you get an extra special thank you there. Guys, let's go ahead and get this party started. What is going on, guys? This is Jay Kraft with the Facebook group Reseller Roundup Pickers Lounge, coming at you live again from beautiful Bakersfield, California. Today is September 1st, 2019, and I have, I suppose, an interesting show for you today. We're going to be talking about more Amazon lawsuits. I know, nothing gets me more excited on a Sunday evening than looking at some legal papers, am I right? On top of that, we're going to be looking at Target's response to Amazon's one-day shipping. We've seen other companies kind of vent their frustration, but what is Target actually doing to try and combat it? It's going to be interesting to see. We don't have much action within the retail sector to try and slow down Amazon's grind to being the number one for e-com. On top of that, we're going to be taking a look at eBay and LGBQT plus their celebration that was celebrated worldwide, and the piece that they put out regarding it. We're going to be taking a look at that. On top of that, we're going to be talking about Shopify passing up eBay as far as market cap numbers are concerned, and what it really means for e-commerce sellers everywhere, and why you might want to keep an eye on this company as well as other e-com companies moving into the UPU issue, which we're going to be talking about again as well today. Beyond that, guys, we're going to be taking a look at all the pickups that I got over the last 2 weeks, if we have the time to be able to take a look at them all. So hopefully we can churn through those. The pickups is one of my favorite things, and I'll tell you what too, guys, if we don't get to them this week, anything we don't get to this week, we're going to have an extended episode next week. We're going to get caught up on 100% of the items, because I know a lot of you have been saying, like, Jay, I love the news, but I really want to see some more pickups from you. So next week we are doing 2 things and 2 things only, and no more, and you'll be able to see them up here at the top, right up here. Where did that other money come from? Apparently, conversion rate. Oh, it was £5, not $5. So next week we're going to be doing our birthday bash and fall seller update special. That's it. We're only going to do those 2 things. I don't care what's happening with news. I don't care, for anything else. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to look at a whole bunch of items. I'm going to have some cake. I'll probably have some Jack and Coke. And we're going to relax for once here. But that's going to be after we cover the eBay Fall Seller Update, which is going to be the biggest thing that's going to be happening this week, coming into my birthday, which is going to be September 5th. So the Fall Update comes out September 4th. Birthday is on September 5th. So I will be spending my birthday tearing down that Fall Seller Update and making sure we have a great presentation for you this coming Sunday. So if you'd like to help support the show, that's one way to do it. You can donate to our super chat up there. And then also you'll see an email scrolling by if you want to donate via PayPal. We get more money if you donate via PayPal, but whatever is most convenient for you. Guys, if you missed last week's show, we talked about Wall Street Journal and the investigation that they did into Amazon. I strongly recommend you go back and watch it too. Also, how and why we're seeing changes to rules and regulations regarding e-packets coming from China, and the implications that can have on the market for not only you as a consumer that's a buyer, but also as a seller as well. We also talked about managed payments. We had another talk about it, and if you're a top-rated seller, get ready. You're going to get put onto managed payments all in a week from now. We talked about the Overstock CEO, Patrick Byrne, and the DOJ controversy. Amazon hands over third-party seller rights back to the brand owners. And then we also did a practical training called The Art of the Deal. So last week's show, it was one of our lowest viewed shows that we've had in a long time, a long, long time, but it was one of the most information-packed shows I feel I have done in a while. So if you're looking for that extra content this week, and you're looking to just have some background noise while you're doing your listing, while you're doing your photography, whatever you might be doing, I strongly recommend you go back and play last week's show. It was a really good one. I want to pause and say thank you to Cheesehead Treasures for that whopping $10 super chat. You know what's interesting about Cheesehead Treasures? Never once does he leave a comment, and I don't think he's ever left anything other than $10. So, $1,000,001 thank you to you guys for that, or thank you directly to Cheesehead Treasure. And I always tell him, reach out to me after the show. We'd love to get you some perks. Send something nice your way for all the support that you've given us. Big thank you to all the people that are in our audience again as well. Our admins, Pam and Mindy. Pam, my thoughts are with you. She's out there in Florida. And my thoughts go out to everyone out in the panhandle end of Florida right now. I hope you guys are all safe because of Hurricane, is it Dory or Dorian? That's passing through the area right now. We're going to have some updates regarding that hurricane later in the show, and what you need to know as an eBay seller, so that way if you are one of the people that are going to be affected by that hurricane as a buyer or a seller, the things that you need to know. I also see we got Greg Taylor, the one and only. Greg, I appreciated the comment that you left earlier on my video. Super nice of you. And we're definitely going to have to connect next year at eBay Open. I'd love to sit down with you and get a meal or something. We got Pat the Reseller, Key Web Co, Roger, Renee. We got a whole bunch of people in the audience, but I don't want to make everyone wait. Let's go ahead and let's talk about life. You know, somebody had asked before the show had started how my sales have been doing, and I'm going to be frank with you guys. They're bad. They're really, really bad. And I went ahead and made some strategic moves to try and increase my sales velocity. You know, the classic things that we all do, because I frankly haven't had the time to do, well, okay, let me rephrase this. We all have the same amount of time, because I hate it when people say I don't have the time. We're all given the same number of hours each and every day. I have opted to give a majority of the hours that I spend doing my work to someone else as I am getting to know them a little bit better. So certain aspects of my business, as far as the frequency and rate at which I source new items and the frequency at rate in which I list new items, has been drastically reduced, somewhere in the area of 80 or 90%. And then I'm spending my remainder of my time working on local deals, which I think we have one of those here on the side today that we'll be taking a look at, as well as focusing in on the show. So we've made a few modifications here on the back end of the show to make things run a little bit smoother, make things sound better, make things look visually better. You might notice, you know, things are slightly less choppy on your screen. We're running at a higher bit rate tonight. We're just doing things here. But my sales have been light, and I'm hoping coming into this week that I'll be able to commit more time and show you guys some better sales velocity. But just remember, if your sales are crummy, ask yourself, what are you doing wrong first? What can you do yourself to try and increase your velocity, and then try and make those things happen? So before we get too far into things, let's go and take a moment and thank our patrons for helping make this show possible. I'll be honest with you guys, as much as I love doing it, if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be able to afford to keep doing it. And we make a little bit, but I'll be honest with you, this is one of the lowest funded months that we've had since probably January. We've had an unfortunately high number of incidental or accidental chargebacks, as well as a couple of patrons just simply falling off the program. You know, we hear every single reason under the sun, you know, from, you know, my husband ended up picking up a second job, so I'm not going to be a reseller anymore, or I just don't feel like doing reselling anymore, or, you know, things have just gotten too hard. And you know, we're going to talk a little bit at the end about reseller motivation and what it takes to make sure that you keep going. And I'm not talking like this hobunk BS, you know, 30-minute discussion that doesn't lead to anything. Like, we're actually going to talk about the importance of reseller motivation and what it means to actually stick through a project and get to that end goal, just briefly before we wrap up tonight. But I want to give an extra special thank you to our top patrons, Pam, Matthew, Ashley, Anna and Joe, Allie, Lee James, Brandy, and Rob, as well as an extended thank you to every single other person who contributes financially on air and off air. It means a ton to me, so thank you to all of you. Without further ado, let's take a look at some news. Guys, if you didn't know this, all of these slides, I generate all these myself. Sometimes I make the images from scratch, sometimes we pull some assets, but every week I make these bad boys for you, and that's part of the time sink. So those of you who don't know, Amazon is working feverishly to roll out one-day shipping to all of their consumers, and it's happening quicker than you might expect. Now, in certain key demos, certain markets, you know, your New Yorks, your Seattles, your Austins and stuff like that, that have this really bustling, suburban, you know, type attitude and energy to them, they already have couriers doing same-day delivery, and it's pretty darn quick. There's, I think, over 10,000 or 100,000 items that you can get delivered to you within an hour via Amazon and their couriers that they have running now, usually on bike messengers, sometimes in vehicle. But Target went ahead and voiced their feelings and said, hey, we're going to go ahead and combat your one-day shipping. We're going to try and do something here locally. We're going to offer a service called Drive Up, which I think is kind of an interesting play, but I just kind of wanted to share it with you because if we really look at the grand scope of things, we have to ask ourselves, what are retail companies doing right now to try and slow down the growth of Amazon? Because, I mean, as much as we love eBay and Etsy and Posh and Mercari, Bonanza, Prairie Grit, we love all these brands, none of them are casting a stone anywhere near Amazon. Okay, we've said this before and I'll say it again. Amazon is a league all of its own. Nobody's truly competing with them. And we're watching retail brand, you know, Toys R Us and Payless, and we're watching all these companies fold one after the next. And the biggest thing that we can attribute to their failure is the fact that they are not innovating their brands to be able to compete within the e-commerce space. As more and more consumers move their dollars online, if brick and mortar companies aren't going to do anything about it, they're simply going to be handing over all of their revenue to Amazon just in a matter of the next 5 to 10 years. We're going to see mainstay companies that we've known since we were children just simply vanishing off the face of the earth. Like I could have never imagined a day when Toys R Us, the most iconic of companies, would end up being stopped. Now, Money for Mars has already commented regarding Shipt, which is going to be the second half that we're going to speak about here. If anyone else has used Shipt and you have an experience regarding it, I'd love to know in the comments right now what your thoughts are on it. Now, we have it available in our area as well, but let's talk about Drive Up first. While you guys get your comments in there. Drive Up, basically you have an app that you can get on your phone. You go aisle by aisle and you can shop through the store, find the stuff you're looking for, load it into your digital cart, and then a actual employee, not for Target, it's like an indirect, like third-party employee will go and, excuse me. Sorry, for a Drive Up, it's an actual Target employee, and I wanted to specify that. They'll be going through the store, they'll gather your items up, and then you can pull up to a designated parking space, and after all your stuff's paid for, if you paid for it online, they bring it out to your cart and get everything loaded up, and then you can drive home, okay? And I guess the idea is that it's more convenient than walking through a Target. But I'll be honest with you, that's the type of service that I would want from a Walmart, because I have never gone to a Target and felt like I was being inconvenienced to be there. Like, I love going to Target. Let's be honest. I mean, it's a very relaxed experience compared to going to a Walmart. So I'm not sure where that full appeal will come to for some people. Now, me, it could be because I'm a single white male, but I would say that maybe if you have 3-4 kids and you don't want to drag them through the store, and there's some stuff that you want to get at Target, or you want to take advantage of a deal and maybe you don't want to wait in line to get it, sure. The big selling point to this thing, it's completely free. So that's kind of nice. You're not going to pay any premiums or anything like that on the items. And they say it's available in 50 states right now, 1,700 stores. Something to look into. I don't know. Let me ask you, do you feel like this is something that could compete with the convenience of ordering something off Amazon? Or is it pretty much apples and oranges to you and you don't see anything special in between? Now, the other end of it is the company called Shipt. Now, Shipt is a company that's been around for quite a little while, and they did their partnership with Target back in March of 2018 is when they got things going. Now, the thing with Shipt that's different is it's more like an Uber-style program that has Target as an option. So if you go to the Shipt site, you can type in your zip code, and it'll give you a list of stores that it's eligible for. And I was frankly surprised by the number of stores that they had there. Now, but this option is a little bit different. Now, I want to be clear too, we don't get any money for talking about this, even though it's a per month, per year membership type program. You can either pay $14 a month or $100 a year to be able to use this. And an employee of Shipt will go to the respective store, Target included, do all of your shopping for you, update you along the way if there's little discrepancies on things, certain brands are out of stock, whatever it might be, and then sometimes as quick as an hour can have the items delivered to you. But like I said, other than having to pay your per month or per year fee, you also have to pay a little bit extra per item. And one of the examples I gave was on some white bread. They said instead of it costing $2.39 for a loaf of Wonder Bread, it would be $2.69. So you're paying an extra 30 cents. Now, I can understand that example of a 30-cent surcharge, but if we factor it out and we say that you're paying like an extra 10% or an extra 15 or 20% on your items, then I might have a little bit of a problem. If a $10 item ends up being $13 or $14, there's a good chance I won't be using the service. But it's interesting. And they said not all items are available. It excludes, super large items, large electronics. I would assume it would exclude massive orders. Like if for some reason you're a wholesaler looking to get, 500 of a particular type of thing that's on sale, it may exclude something like that. And then you also have to pay an extra $7 if your order's under $35. I guess that's fine, but is that something that you would use? Is that something that you would sign up for? Like I said, Target is already the premium experience. If somebody would do that for me at Walmart, I would probably be willing to pay for that at this point. If, let's say my entire bill, let's say I needed, $70 worth of groceries, and my total would come out to $85. Okay, I would probably be willing to pay that because I know I'm going to lose $5 in gas over and back, turning it on, off, idle time, everything like that. My time, probably going to take an hour out of my life. I'd be happy to pay an extra $15 for that premium. Let's take a look at some of these comments here. You guys are going to have to forgive my light energy too, guys. No coffee as of right now. I didn't have enough time to run to Starbucks. How do you guys like this 4 o'clock run time? I'll be frank with you. I'd love to go back to 5 o'clock, but I think some of you guys like this too much. Roger says it's because Target products are Amazon products too, and available in bulk with a Q. Interesting. Money from Mars says our Target uses Ship to provide same-day delivery. You see grocery stores doing this, is what Richard said. Oh yeah, and then tipping. Yeah, tipping is completely optional. And then they said that if you do tip them, the driver receives 100% of the tip. They don't take anything out of it. Greg Taylor says, agree. I personally hate going to Walmart, and Target has a more relaxed atmosphere to me, in my opinion. Yep, 100% agree. Okay, now Beth is saying they do have that drive up at Walmart. For us, it's site-to-store pickup. You have to go inside the store to actually get the stuff. And I think I know why. I think that there's too many employees that would be willing to help people steal stuff. So I think that might be why they do that way. In other news this week, though, guys, we have a new class action lawsuit being leveraged against Amazon. It's not a surprise that this happened. We saw the Wall Street Journal come out last week. It's just a little bit shocking that it happened so fast. I guess somebody was bored and they felt like they could make something happen. We have a guy by the name of Ryan Edmondson start a class action based on Illinois' consumer fraud and deceptive business practices. And he was alleging that the defendant, Amazon, is selling banned, unsafe, mislabeled, recalled products and endangering health, safety, and the welfare of the consuming public. Now, this has been one of those interesting debates that I've seen kind of bouncing back and forth within Amazon. If Amazon has a product available for sale on their website, and the item is clearly illegal, and if somebody buys said illegal product through that site, is Amazon responsible for it? Like if I went onto eBay right now and there was a listing for fentanyl, okay, and I bought said fentanyl and my post person ended up dying while they were delivering it, okay, whose fault does that fall on? Does it fall on me for ordering it and getting it into circulation? Does it fall on USPS for not catching something dangerous as it was passing through them? Does it fall on Amazon, the vendor of the product, or does it fall on the third-party seller? Or could we trace it even further back? Could we blame the manufacturer? Like if we're talking about something like an counterfeit battery, for instance, do we go all the way back to the manufacturer? Do we go to the third-party seller? Do we go to the Amazon? Do we go to the delivery? Or do we go to the final end user, the consumer? Who is responsible for said item in that instance? This is where it gets really tricky. Do you blame the person who chose to buy said illegal or counterfeit item and say, hey, you didn't do your research? And I guess the argument was it had to do regarding a, what do you call it, a smart unicycle, one of those hoverboards. There was, now this is the opinion. This is another lawsuit. It's a guy by the name of Fennerman. This lawsuit was issued on August 20th, and the root of the dispute is that the Amazon product listing indicated that it was a quote-unquote smart unicycle, two-wheel, self-balancing electric scooter, balance hoverboard, color black. Don't you love those titles with all the keywords in them? And it had a quote-unquote genuine Samsung battery, when in reality it had a counterfeit Samsung battery that came from a Chinese manufacturer. Okay, so whose fault is it really? Is it, let's say we can look at the real scooter and say it's $600, and then we have another one that's $300. Okay, and if an intelligent person can look at it and tell that the $300 one is counterfeit, do we blame Amazon? Do we blame the manufacturer? Do we blame the buyer? It's a really hard thing to say. Let me read this really quick. So I have a quote here. The Great Northern Insurance Company sued Amazon in Lake County Circuit Court to pursue subrogated claims for product liability, negligent failure to warn, negligent misrepresentation, and violation of the Illinois Consumer Fraud and Deceptive Business Practices Act. After Amazon removed the complaint to the U.S. District Court, Northern District of Illinois, it asked Judge Gary Fennerman to dismiss everything but the product liability claim. And the reason is that Great Northern said it paid more than $3.8 million to a couple after the fire, which started when the battery spontaneously combusted a few months after the family bought the device. Firstly, I'm calling BS on a battery randomly, spontaneously combusting. It is incredibly rare for those batteries to combust, okay? And then every one that I've ever seen bust is from somebody doing something stupid on it. And I don't understand how this insurance company could pay out $3.8 million in damages. It feels a little bit aggressive, and it feels like that they were trying to pay out a lot there and then really be able to go after the rub on Amazon. Say, it's cost us millions of dollars in legal proceedings, lost revenue, having to manage this case, yada, yada, yada. It feels like a little bit of a cash grab. On top of that, they're also getting sued by Audible, and like I said, a lot of this is happening because of that Wall Street Journal article. You have a lot of companies that are going to be going after Amazon now. You're going to have a lot of individuals going after Amazon. That first one that I was telling you about, that gentleman who's doing the lawsuit from Illinois, it's a class action. If you've ever bought anything off of Amazon and you've been the victim of the damages of it because of, let's say, a battery exploded, or even something, I've seen ones where knife handles have come apart and people have managed to cut their hands open. If you've had something goofy or weird or legitimate claim, you may want to jump on this class action. And we'll have details for you available within our Facebook page if you would like them as well. Roger is saying the payment processor. Wow, I hadn't even thought about that. That is another person that you could point accountability for. But this is the thing. We have to determine who is at fault. Like I said, here in California, they're asking all Amazon sellers, or telling all Amazon sellers, that we need to get liability insurance to be able to cover all of the items that we are selling on the secondary market. And I think that is a play to basically back off Amazon's liability from the seller. It's an interesting thing. And Richard said all of these suits are a cash grab. Well, check this one out. This one really shocked me. We have a lawsuit coming from Audible, and basically what's happening is you've got their audiobooks that they have available for sale on Amazon, and they rolled out a new feature that is the speech to text feature. So that way you can basically have narration as well while you listen. You can see the words scroll across the screen. Now, initially, my first thought was like, man, this is going to be great for those who are hard of hearing, okay? Or those who maybe want to be able to read, but for some reason they're in a scenario where they can't have headphones in and they still want to be able to consume their content. Like, okay, that's a thing. And also, what's the big damn deal? And basically, Audible is suing and saying that if you transcribe those words into text, you are basically reproducing the original work, and that it is infringing on the copyright of the original text book. It's a really, really disgusting play to try and get money out of Amazon, and it has to do with the fact that the speech to text is generated and it's not based wholly on the original piece. It's a disgusting lawsuit. And then last thing regarding Amazon, you have Woody Allen. Have you guys heard about this? And a little bit of shocker to me. Somebody that I was speaking with, they asked me who Woody Allen was. And I'm like, how do you not know who Woody Allen is? And he had a deal going with Amazon. It was a pretty large deal. $68 million. He was going to have them use all his whole library of work. And, that's what he's suing them for now. He had his work, and now he's suing them for that money because they backed off and said, we don't want to work with you anymore. And the reason they did that, or he believes the reason they did that, is because his daughter came out with sexual allegation charges against him. And kind of spoke up and made a whole bunch of noise, and then Amazon didn't want to work with him, and he's saying that they don't have the legal rights to be able to back off of a deal based on something like that. I don't know. Amazon's going to get sued pretty much every day for the rest of their existence. This is what happens when you have a company that gets too darn large, and I tell people this all the time. Amazon is going to get to a critical mass failure point where they're simply not going to be able to scale anymore. I just don't know how far away that is going to be before we actually see that happen. Donna says, I like 4 p.m. I think, Donna, you might be running a little bit behind. Those of you who are jumping in late, you can rewind if you need to and catch on up. But I think you might be running a little bit behind the rest of us. But hello again to everyone who is here tonight. Guys, did you hear about Shopify and their market cap passing eBay? And I know some of this news is a little bit boring to you guys, but those of you who need this news, I'm happy that you're enjoying it. eBay's market cap right now, which if you don't know what market cap is, it's basically the value of all of the outstanding shares available for a company. So if you have XYZ company that has 1 billion shares available for sale, and the shares are $5 a piece, that company has a market cap of $5 billion. And it's basically a way that you can see how much money people have been willing to invest into that brand. And part of it's going to be other corporate entities. Part of it is going to be individuals like myself buying shares. There's a lot of different ways. It can be hedge fund companies, partner companies, whatever it might be, even employees who have stock options. It's a sign of the strength and overall value of the brand. Now, if we look at eBay's market cap, it's $33.7 billion. Or it's million. Hold on one second. I want to make sure I'm speaking in the correct terms here and not making a jackass out of myself. Give me 1 second. Market cap, billion, thank you. There we go. So eBay's market cap right now is $33.7 billion, billion with a B, and Shopify's market cap, just as of recent, passed by 40, and now it's at $43.38 billion. And it's a ridiculous amount of money. And I've done so much research on this Shopify brand over the last week, because you may have heard the word Shopify tossed around. You may have heard of drop shippers and third-party sellers and Chinese drop shippers and Alibaba when people are talking about Shopify. But I frankly didn't fully understand what Shopify was until this week. And that's when I started diving a little bit deeper. And I wanted to find out, how the heck has this company that essentially came out of nowhere grown to such a ridiculous scale? Okay? I mean, we're talking just a couple of years ago, they were a quarter the size of eBay as far as market cap, and they have flown clean on by. I think they're trading at like $350 a share comparative to eBay's like $35 a share. We're going to see a split from this company here soon. If anyone's looking to invest money into a brand that's scaling, maybe. Now, I know we talked last week about the implications of America leaving the United Postal Union and how that can negatively impact brands like Shopify. But it's certainly one to keep your eyes on. I expect a downtick if something like that does happen, or if rumors really start to ramp up that that's going to be the direction that America is going to be going. But as far as the long-term play, if they can get through this downturn, I think it's going to be an incredibly strong company. Now, just so you understand how big this company is comparative to other brands, they are larger than Twitter, Square, and Spotify as far as individual brands are concerned for market cap. They're a massive brand. So if you don't know what they do, okay, they basically allow you to create your own web page, okay, your own store, and then you just upload and host all your items there, and then people can show up and buy your stuff. So it doesn't really matter what you're selling. You could be selling coffee beans, you could be selling jewelry, you could be selling handmade goods. I think you pay something like $30 a month, and you can have your entire storefront managed there, and it has integrated payment options as well, so people can pay for all their stuff and everything on the back end. Now, when I was doing my research about this company, I wanted to know really, truly, how they were able to grab so much of the market. Now, we've talked before about companies like eBay truly missing the mark when it comes to speaking to millennials and Gen Z to be able to get them excited about not only using these forms of e-commerce, but participating in it as well. I visited the YouTube page for Shopify. I want to share with you the video that was on their homepage. And when I saw it, I'm like, okay, this specifically is the missing link that eBay does not have in their marketing toolbox that's not allowing them to scale the same way that Shopify is. Check out this 2.5 minute long video.
I can't describe it, but there's something beautiful about making things. We need to know where stuff is from. We need to know who made it.
I didn't start a business to start a fashion label. I created Vote to make as big of an impact as possible.
A company should play an important role in society. Otherwise, we just dump it. It's just trash. But it's not trash, man. It's just treasures for us.
I've been better at being an artist than I have been at being a business person.
We're on the rocket ship. We have astronauts in training getting ready to fly off this Earth.
We are here to kind of explore women, beauty, business, entrepreneurship.
That freaking G. I still smell like butter.
I smell like a bakery.
Now, before we do leave, I have a simple question. Is anyone on board? This is your first time in Key West.
To make a product that you can put a stamp on it and say, it's original. We make it here. You can't get it anywhere else.
I was very happy with what I was doing, but something was not happy within me.
If I was really caring about like making money instantly, I would have had a normal job.
If you're only here once, I, for one, don't want to spend that doing things that I don't want to do.
It's just, it's really overwhelming.
We were looking for a place like Steeltown Garage Co. to go to ourselves, and it wasn't here. So we thought, well, let's just make it.
10 years ago, it was so hard to do the same thing. And today, anyone can open a business. You might fail, but you won't regret it.
Now, I was really blown away by the quality of that video when I watched it earlier. Just the simple fact that there's somewhere in the area of about 200 plus clips in there. The entire thing has been color graded. It's absolutely beautiful looking. And it speaks to a very specific demographic in a way that eBay doesn't speak to them. Etsy doesn't speak to them. Posh doesn't speak to them. That was a very, very gorgeous, gorgeous video that does something special. And I think that if other brands could get their head out of their butts and take note of what Shopify has been doing over the last couple of years, they might be able to regain some of that market share that they've actually lost out on. Just so we can have a better understanding of the numbers, okay, 377,500 paying customers, which grew 55% from the previous year, 100.5 million people buying from stores powered by Shopify, doubled the amount of products sold through the platforms from $7.7 billion to $15.4 billion just over the last year. That is insane. Roger's asking, print on demand is the easiest way to start. 100%. Yeah, so you can either do your own private brand where you are selling your own curated products, which is a way that you could import your eBay and Amazon businesses across. Excuse me. Or you could do your own completely private, you know, some people are going to do like a coffee company and some people are going to do a poster company, whatever it might be. You can do your own company, but basically Shopify is powering the back end for these companies and saying, you know, you do whatever the heck you want to do. We're not going to hold the product. We're not going to hold your inventory. We don't really want to be the gatekeeper to your payments either, but this is here. This is how it can be set up. If you want to use it, use it. Okay. And if you want to use us as a portal to where you can acquire goods here, you can allow consumers to buy them here and then get them out to the consumers on the back end, basically operating like a drop shipper, you can do that as well. So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Jane Miller says, I have 5 pairs of Kinos. They are great. You're going to have to tell me more about them. I am curious now. Hello to you, Jane. Hello to Sam as well. Thanks for dropping into the chat. And then Aaron says, I likely move to Shopify or open my own source, install, and invest some money that would be going to eBay to invest in my own business and return customers. And that's something that's really unique when it comes to creating to creating a Shopify presence online, is that you can actually create a way to retain customers, because it can be your brand that people are coming back to again, and they're not simply going there to shop for the cheapest price. When I downloaded the Shopify app, I was expecting an eBay-esque experience. I was expecting to be able to search for things that I wanted and be able to be directed to stores. It doesn't work that way. You do your own marketing budget, your advertising budget, you set things up the way you like them, and then you can go promote it yourself as well. And that's how you can create customer loyalty, because I'm not just shopping for the cheapest price. I am now shopping for people. I am shopping for brands. I am shopping for experiences. It's a different way of doing business. And I think that that might be one of the few things that can actually disrupt the market right now. It's interesting to see. If you have any opinions on it, I'd love to know. Those of you who are watching this tomorrow, You're watching this on a Monday. Yes, I'm talking directly to you watching this on a Monday while you're doing your listings. Leave a comment below. You guys don't know this, but anytime you leave a comment after it's already uploaded, it really helps out the show, even if you just say hello. But here's the only thing that I am worried about, the only thing, the rub, the contention. We don't know what percentage of people that are selling on there are drop shippers. And I actually saw a comment from somebody that said that they had over 1,500 Shopify stores under their name, okay, and that they're a full-time drop shipper operating 1,500 stores. And he said that only a small percentage of them are successful, which maybe 50 to 100, but that's the amount of market space that he's taking up. So when we see the fallout from the UPU, if things go in that direction, then we're going to have a better beat on what's going to happen to Shopify moving forward. Trust me, you'll hear more about that from me in probably about 2 weeks' time. On top of that, guys, we have eBay celebrating LGBTQ. We're just going to say gay rights. So, and they celebrate across the globe. I don't have any personal comments on this story, so I will be reading directly from the website. Hold on. It's a bit duller. Yes, Shopify can be a bit much. eBay is a company with a mission that is bigger than any single moment to create an opportunity for all by championing a diverse and inclusive workforce. We not only aim to reflect our customer base, but also to position ourselves to make a positive impact on society. Throughout June, July, and August, eBay joined many across the world in celebrating the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, and other community during Pride Month celebrations. This year marked the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots, a pivotal moment in the fight for equality rights. As a nod to this important moment, eBay's theme for this year's event was #DoSomethingBrave, which served to encourage everyone everywhere to be courageous and champion inclusion. And when we all support one another, real change happens. eBay's global, united, and pride community of inclusion, comprised of passionate employees from all backgrounds, organized events spanning more than a dozen locations around the world. Employees participated in local parades and marches, drag queen bingo, lunch and learns, team offsites, and more. This year we raised thousands of dollars through the eBay for Charity campaign, auctioning experiences and memorabilia in support of GLAAD, a nonprofit media organization driving an inclusive narrative and fostering a culture of change. The only side note that I have regarding this topic is I found it to be a somewhat of a hard marketing play. The fact that everything was so heavily branded under the eBay name, even to the point where the eBay banner had a full corner dedicated to StubHub, another company that they owned. Props to you, eBay, for trying to be champions of diversity, but please leave some of the marketing at home. I think we can kind of cool it for just a moment when we're trying to do something good for society. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. I think you can cool it for a moment while you are doing something that you believe is beneficial for society. Leave my thoughts out of that one, guys. So eBay sends an email in support of the UPU. I don't know if any of you guys noticed that. Let me take a look at these comments right here. Pam says they should do more. I don't think so at all. I can't see a reason why any company should feel like they have to do anything, because I don't think it's any company's responsibility to be champions for inclusion. I think that's society's job to be champions for inclusion. So eBay sends email in support of the UPU, United Postal Union, for those of you guys who do not understand. We talked about this in depth last week. I strongly recommend you go back and watch last week's show if you did miss it. I have some more quoted text for you. This is quote from the eBay site, and I'm going to give you some color after I am done. This whole complex, and this is literally part of the email that was fired out, and then you follow the links through to go to the ebaymainstreet.com page to read this. And some of the words in here, they made me really angry when I read them, and I hope that you feel a little bit of the fire in you when you hear me say them as well. This whole complex system is facilitated by an organization most people have probably never heard of, the Universal Postal Union, or the UPU. This body was set up almost 150 years ago to help postal operators all around the world communicate and operate with each other. Another thing that the UPU does is set the rates for countries, charge each other for mail delivery. For a long time, the UPU rate system worked well, but recently it has become more and more unfair for certain mail users. Now, they're not referring to mail, M-A-L-E, they're referring to mail, M-A-I-L. Which mail users, okay, which users of the United Postal Union do you think are being adversely affected by certain countries receiving exceptionally discounted rates? Now, what we're talking about is we're talking about e-packets. I just want to be very clear. We're talking about countries that fall within group 3, 4, and 5, but predominantly we're talking about China. And as of the last 2 weeks, we are also talking about Vietnam. So we have two countries that are benefiting greatly by being able to send stuff to America for very cheap. Now, I want to be very clear when I say this. It is only people in China and Vietnam sending stuff here. We do not receive the same advantage when we send stuff there. Okay, so it's a one-way relationship, just so we're clear. Okay. As I was saying, for a long time, the UPU rate system worked well, but recently it has become more and more unfair for certain mail users. For example, in some cases, someone sending a package from another country to the U.S. may pay less than it costs to ship the same package within the U.S. Okay, so, for example, okay, it may cost somebody in China less to send a package here than it may cost for me to send that same package to someone else here in America. Okay, so I really want to clarify really quick. Okay. Here's the list of all 192 countries that are on the United or Universal Postal Union. This is all of them, okay? And the list goes from group 1 to group 5. And these people all pay the same amount, okay? And then everyone else pays less. Okay, from this way over. We are in category 1. We pay the most every time, okay? Any package we send out to anywhere in the world, we pay the most money along with all these other countries. Everyone else gets it cheaper. So when they use this verbiage, in some cases, someone sending a package from another country to the U.S. may pay less than it costs to ship the same package within the U.S. There's some cases example is every single time, okay? Every single time it's cost more the other way around. If it's not more, it's the exact same, okay? And this is the problem that I have. I have no problem with eBay sending out a letter and saying, you know, hey, this is where our company aligns. This is what we want to see happen, okay? Here's facts for you to make an educated decision as to whether or not you would like to go and sign the petition that we're asking you to sign in the email that we've sent you. The problem I have is when you use deceptive wording and verbiage to an uneducated base regarding these issues and then try and pony them across to sign a petition that's going to negatively impact their business. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of that time that eBay rolled out a thing called managed payments and tried to convince everyone that it's going to be a great thing for their business. Sure, there's a couple of situations that it may benefit your situation and you may save a little bit of money, but on the whole, you're going to get taken to Pound Town as consumers aren't going to be happy with having a non-PayPal mandate on their stores. Moving on, the next part of it says, as a result of this unfair rate system, at least they're acknowledging that, the U.S. government has announced that it is going to withdraw from the UPU. If the U.S. moves forward with the withdrawal plan, it could mean big trouble for anyone who sends or receives mail or packages internationally. Luckily, there's a chance for the UPU to reform its rates before the U.S. withdraws. The U.S. government is currently pushing rate reform to encourage the UPU to change the current system. If that works, the U.S. would likely remain in the UPU and rates would be set more fairly. Okay, so they're asking people to go sign this petition, okay, to encourage the UPU to reform rates and to encourage America to stay within the UPU. But the reality is, they're talking about moving China from Group 3 to Group 2. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, that's something better than nothing. No, it's not. Okay? China is the number 2 economic superpower in the world, and they showed twice as much growth as America last year. It's America and then China. Okay? And the reason why we need to do something about this is because we have relied on China for so long for such stupid items. okay, that we can't afford to manufacture here anymore. And if we keep giving them these discounted rates and allowing them to continue to send over copious amounts of garbage to the States that people really don't need for next to nothing, okay, the problem is going to get worse and worse and worse. And I was explaining it to the wonderful girl that I'm seeing, Emily. I was explaining it to her yesterday. The concept behind this is so ridiculous that we paid China for years to take our trash. We were sending them metals and plastics and other goods, glasses to recycle, okay? And they took all of our trash, recycled it, turned it into other garbage, and then sold it back to us. We paid them more money so that way they could afford to send it all back to us as more garbage that we don't need. We used this garbage, and then we paid for them to take it again. We gave it right back to them. We said, take it all back again, refine it, okay, and then send it right back across at a discounted rate. How does no one see the problem here? And then I've had some people that were championing to stay within the UPU and saying, no, if we leave the UPU, you know, I heard somebody on TV saying millions of jobs are going to be lost. Where? Where are we going to lose millions of jobs in America because we don't have China anymore? We created this problem. It's our job to get this problem fixed. I am horrified at the prospect of e-packets continuing longer. China had a 6% growth last year. That is insane. That is absurd for a country that is receiving discounted rates on postage as if they were a third world country. Here, let me look at this one. Let's look at some of the countries next to them, because it just blows my mind. Who do we got? We got Libya. Mexico's on the list, okay. South Africa, Thailand. Some of these countries are actually fairly developed. I don't understand how China's on this list next to them. I don't know. If you guys want this, it's called the country classification list, okay? International terminal dues. That's what you want to type in, and you can get that pulled up online. If you want me to mail you a copy of this, let me know, or I can post it up on the group. I strongly recommend you check it out. It's just something to read into. Guys, before we wrap up our news, we have some tiny bits, and I don't have a thumbnail. We call it tiny bits, which is just your leftover news. We actually have quite a few things that I couldn't squeeze into full segments. The first one, Forever 21 filed for bankruptcy. I don't have any other details on it, but I will be following up on it in 2 weeks. I'm probably going to make a dedicated video talking about the fall of retail here in America and what needs to happen to stop e-com from taking over. Because trust me when I say this, we need brick and mortar stores in America. We cannot have a situation where everything happens online. And I know we are buyers and sellers of online goods. We need brick and mortar to back up e-com in this country. They go hand in hand. We have to have them both. If there is no traditional brick and mortar, people won't have jobs. If they don't have jobs, they're not going to be buying our tat online. Okay, so we have to make sure that's all there. On top of that, the Retail Revival Program is happening again, and it's going to be happening in Austin, Texas this time. If you live in Austin, you have an opportunity to sign up. I would strongly recommend you don't, because it's a giant scam. That's right. eBay's Retail Revival Program is a hoax, and I have the documentation to prove it. I'm still working on the video. Oh, I'm lying to you. I haven't worked on it in forever. I have everything I need to make the video. It's simply a matter of getting some good studio space and studio time. I've talked with so many different store owners from the Ohio location that they did. It's insane. Just how badly that they lied to the mayor, they lied to the people of the town, they lied to the general community online about the Retail Revival Program. But we'll have details about that and the new one that they're rolling out. The Fall Seller Update's coming next week too, guys. I don't know if you heard about this. September 4th, Fall Seller Update is going to be around the corner. I'm expecting some doozies to get slipped in there. It was a little bit of an interesting one, too. Normally, they come out on Mondays. We were expecting it to not come out this week, but we were expecting it to come out next week because this Monday is Labor Day. So, because of that, things are coming out a week earlier, and I was asking myself, I'm like, why were they going to do it? Or why weren't they going to do it next week? And they felt they had to get it out this week. And nobody could really put the pieces together. And it has to do with managed payments again. And I know we've talked about managed payments an awful lot, but last week I told you the mandate for top-rated sellers was a 2-week mandate to get switched over to managed payments. And that lines up perfectly when the Fall Seller Update comes out. So when that update comes out, that's going to be the hammer. That's going to be saying, okay, you must be on managed payments now. You must get set up on it if you are a top-rated seller or a power seller. Excuse me, it might be power seller. I can't remember. But you're going to have to be on it. And I think that's why they're doing it. As far as other changes that we can see, I assume we're going to have some more category reclassification changes. We're probably going to have some adjustments to the terms of service. We're going to have hard mandates for top-rated seller changes as far as safeguards that only top-rated sellers get when dealing with INADs and SNADs and any type of return issues. They've drawn the line in the sand. If you haven't looked at the community board yet, the community board did a open questionnaire on the 28th last month, and they are drawing that hard line in the sand. They're saying if you're a top-rated seller, you get these protections. If you're not a top-rated seller, you get these protections. So they're basically saying like, hey, we're not going to tell you that you're going to have to do your store this way. We're not going to tell you you have to have one-day handling. We're not going to tell you have to offer returns. We're not going to tell you it's going to be a 30-day return window. But what we are going to say is that if you don't manage to qualify to be a top-rated seller, you're going to get our basic level of protections as a seller. So if Joe Jackass wants to charge back a $700 item, if it falls within this group set of classifications, we're not going to be able to, or we can't help you. But if it falls in this set and you're not a top-rated seller, we're not going to be able to assist you. It's a really scummy thing to see happening, but we're going to get more details on that next week. Rick says, people still want a retail experience. We still want to connect, but it'll be a smaller boutique-style store. And Rick's saying he might be biased. Those of you who don't know, Rick owns Blue Shell Gaming in Clovis. Fantastic game store. I've said great things about it. And if you anywhere in the area, definitely go by and pay him a visit and tell him that Jay sent you. If you tell him Jay's Game Shack sent you, I think he'll give you a discount. At least that's what I tell my former customers when I tell them to go there. I tell them Jay sent you, and Rick will give you a discount. So hopefully a little bit of that's happening. But yes, now here's the thing, okay? Richard, you can't even be TRS Plus. I always tell people this. TRS Plus is based on your listing, not on your seller account. So some listings can qualify for TRS Plus, but you have to be a TRS seller to begin with. Yeah, so... Yep. So yeah, Rick is saying I've seen more coffee spots opening in medical offices, banks, connections, experiences. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of companies sharing retail spaces to make things happen, and more of like the express experience and not so much of these large mega stores like we've seen before. I was watching a CNBC piece on Bed Bath & Beyond and the rise and fall of that company. That company was doing fantastic and scaling end over end, but they simply failed to incorporate a strong e-commerce presence. And they were offering products within their store that could simply be bought elsewhere. There's something really special about brands that are able to offer an exclusive lineup in their store. So we have one more little bit of tiny news here for you guys. Here, let me get this off the screen. Here, we'll even do this. Make it fancy for you guys. Full screen here. So eBay and Amazon to begin tax collection for items sold to Ohio beginning September 1st. Something to keep in mind if you didn't know that. And then also last bit of news, if you are in Florida and you are going to be affected by the Dorian hurricane, this is important news for you. If you are buying or selling items out of Florida, this is also important news for you. This is coming directly from eBay. Due to severe weather expected in the Florida region, and I do want to say this, I think you guys are going to be fine. I've looked at the spaghetti models. I think people are blowing it out of proportion. And I want to say this too. I was so tempted to make a video. I'm thinking about starting another channel. I was watching this he was a jackass of a weatherman on TV, freaking excited about this hurricane coming in. Like I could see his lips pursed, trying to hold back the smile and the enthusiasm he had talking about a hurricane coming into Florida. Like, I get it. You're a weatherman. This is like a huge deal for you. This is like your one time every 3 months where you get to put on your nice suit and stand in front of the green screen and all eyes are on you. But can you hold back your excitement for a flipping hurricane coming in that could like kill hundreds of people? Can you dial it back a little bit and find some professionalism? Due to the severe weather expected in the Florida region due to Hurricane Dorian, communication, power, and transportation lines may be disrupted. Some carriers may be suspending shipping services. If you're located in the Florida region and may not have access to your inventory, we recommend, firstly, communicating with buyers to let them know your situation. Secondly, ending all auctions, taking down any buy it now listings before they result in a sale, and finally, placing your store on vacation mode if you're an eBay store subscriber, and extending your handling time on all items to when you can get back to business. It is important to understand, guys, just placing your store on vacation mode does not absolve your responsibility to get your packages out on time. I've argued this with so many people. Placing your store on vacation mode simply notifies your buyers that you are not available to ship out their item until a specified date. You can pick the date. But if you have your items available and somebody can buy them, you still must honor your handling time. So if you have a 2-day handling time, you still have 2 business days to get that item out from the time it's completed. Okay? If you don't have the means to be able to get your items out within the longest handling time, which I believe is 5 business days, and then you got your weekend on top. So if you don't expect to get your items out within a week, go through and delist all of your items. Or you can use the tool within vacation mode if you have a store to make all of your items hidden. It's important to remember too that when you come back from vacation mode, if you have delisted your items or if you have hidden your items, it could take up to 48 to 72 hours to re-index your listings within Google. So you will see slow sales when you come back from vacation until your items are re-indexed. And for those of you, again, who say, anytime I put my store on vacation mode and come back, I just make a whole bunch of sales. The reason why is sometimes the bottom end of the market can get eaten out while you're gone, and when you just place your items back again without checking the market, you might be 5, 10, 15% below where the market's at now, and you may see an uptick because of that. And it has nothing to do with the fact that you just put your items back online again. But getting back full circle again to you Floridians, those are the things you need to know. If your business is affected, eBay will automatically protect your seller performance and your late shipment rate will not be impacted under these conditions. Your zip code has been identified by the major shipping carriers USPS, UPS, and FedEx. Our tracking data shows your shipment was delayed or not delivered due to this weather event. Please note, you may see late shipments due to this weather event on your seller dashboard, but they will be removed before the seller evaluation occurs on the 20th of each month. Rest assured that sellers need not worry about their eBay seller performance due to delays caused by weather. For those in the affected region, there is no need to contact customer service. That's probably a lie. eBay will automatically protect seller shipping metrics due to this event. We will continue to monitor the situation and update this article if needed, which I hate when they say that. We'll update this article if needed. How about you send out a new article to us, okay, if there's an actual change to that. So that's the thing about it. Okay, be mindful, protect yourself first, okay? Worry about yourself, worry about your family, worry about your friends. Then do your best to secure your inventory. There's a lot of things you can do to protect your inventory. You know, understand the value of your inventory, understand the value of your house, protect whichever one's most valuable first, then get to number 2. Let's take a look at some of these comments here. Let's see. Cheesehead says, you think we need to switch to managed payments in the next few weeks? Is that what I heard? Yes. Go back and watch last week's show. We went into great detail on that, my friend. Riken Profit in the comments saying, smash that like button. Guys, hit that like button. Not for me, but because Riken asked. I mean, he's the big shot. I'm floored he's even subscribed to my channel. It's an honor to have him around. So if you haven't hit that like, please do so. And if you're like Riken Profits and you think he's a great guy, he would probably really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. And also, thank you to the one jackass who decided to hit that dislike button. I really appreciate it. We got some comments in regarding the storm as well. Spaghetti models are stupid. I have been there for hurricanes, scary stuff, and they have to be firm about telling people because they think it's party time and end up dead. Yes, I understand. I understand the importance of not being overly optimistic regarding those things, but, you know, I want to be optimistic from here on the West Coast. I want to hope that everyone's going to be okay. Greg says, lived in Florida, 23 years old, and plan on moving back by early 2020. It's scary, but they do blow some things up, but still have to watch out. Yes, that's the thing about it. They certainly sensationalize these events. You know, you just got to follow the money. I mean, that's really it. It's the money trail is what's happening. So give me 1 second. Let me clean some stuff up here on my end. Get this closed out. So, guys, that's all of our news for this week. Actually, we have one last slide. And the reason we have this last slide, somebody had asked about this the other day. And they said, Jay, I still don't know what Patreon is. Can you tell me what Patreon is? And I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and make a slide. I'm going to explain to people like all the different ways that they can help out our channel. So if you want to help out our channel and help out what we are doing, we can afford equipment that actually works, that allows us to go through slides on our screen. There we go. And I made this disgustingly ugly slide so that way I could get your attention. Okay. So there's a lot of different ways that you can help out what we are doing here. One of the ways is you obviously can like and subscribe our content. You can join our Facebook group. You can donate directly. We have our donation link down below, and it's also there in tiny text as well. We have a couple of affiliates that we work with. We have Honey, Prairie Grit, and PayPal. Any one of these affiliate links that you use, the Honey one is completely free. The PayPal one, it's like $5 a month, but you can get a debit card that has both. If somebody wants to handle that, it has both the routing and account number. So if you have like a situation where you want to use managed payments or something to that effect, you're going to be able to. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta ban somebody. Hide user on this channel. Thanks, buddy. So yeah, those are all the ways that you can help out. Some are free, some cost money. The Prairie Grit one's a pretty cool one too. Let me make this slide a little bit bigger so that way you guys can see what I'm talking about. And then the other end of it too is if you want to be a patron, you can sign up at patreon.com/Bolorama. You get 24/7 group chat with other expert sellers. It's pretty much running around the clock. You also get a free Prairie Grit account. Based on the level that you sign up with will determine what you get. On top of that, you're going to get thank you cards for your orders. Again, if you're on the right level. Direct crisis support. People call me all the time asking for help with crazy customers and stuff like that. You're also going to get private training videos that we don't make available on the rest of our channel. And you're going to get mentioned in our show credits each and every week. If we don't do the card mid-show, then we're also going to do it after. And then you can also get yourself a shirt as well. We're still working on getting those designs done. If you are a shirt designer and you would like to submit a design, we are all for it. Give me 1 second. I'm just getting this fixed really quick on my end so it's not messed up next week. There we go. Looks good. Looks good. So yeah, that's how you can support the show if you want to be a part of it. Here's our Patreon link. Here's our Facebook link. I'll throw them in the comments for you. Let's head back to our main screen. What are we going to be doing today? I'm sorry, guys. My software is locking up on me a little bit. This is pretty resource intensive for my computer. So let me take a look at some of these comments while this tech is catching up for me over here. Brandy says, born, raised in New Orleans, 22 years away for military. It only takes one Katrina in a lifetime to make you pay attention in a different way. Definitely give you the nod on that one. You know, I haven't had to experience a hurricane myself, but I do feel certain things are being sensationalized, and there is a lot of media for profit. It's important to understand, like, this hurricane is going to make CNN millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's just disgusting how much money media outlets make during natural disasters. And all of that money goes straight in their pocket, too. You know, if like some of it went to relief or something like that, I might be able to, you know, relax a little bit on the topic. But it's seriously a cash grab. Modern media is an absolute cash grab nowadays. So guys, I guess we'll take a look at some items. I don't really feel like being on air all evening. So we're going to take a look at some items and then we'll probably button it up and I'll carry on with my night. If you guys have any questions, now is going to be a great time to ask them and I'll be happy to answer them for you before we get off air. I almost knocked that over. And Pam, we can argue about which news is the best, but if it's going to be, you know, I have a hard time debating with some people when they say, you know, your source is good, but this source isn't good. You can only trust this one. You can't trust this one. But there's, I don't know. I mean, the spaghetti model is literally 20 different, you know, research, meteorological labs and facilities all putting together their best predictions. It's like 20 different independent companies making a prediction about what's going to happen with a hurricane. So if 19 of the 20 miss Florida and then one's going through Florida, I don't think it would be that ridiculous to assume that there's a good likelihood that it's not going to go directly across the state. Okay, let's take a look at some items, guys. Let's go ahead and carry on with the show. So I went to Goodwill the other day. Had an absolutely great time while I was out, and I picked up some, somewhat interesting items. Nothing too crazy. I picked up another one of these bad boys, these Duffy Disney bears. I sold the last one. I didn't get as much as I would have liked. This is a slightly different model. I haven't figured out the year or anything, but there was a couple of animals that I picked up that were pretty much snap buys. This thing only cost me $1, so I can't complain with that. Worst case scenario, I'll be able to take this to the con with me and I'll be able to pick up a tenner for it, but I'll look it up. It could be as much as 15, but I don't think it's old enough to really warrant any high value on it. I picked up a great little Amazon item. This is a Sex and the City trivia card game, and what I found really interesting about this one is that this is an interesting IP in the fact that this started out so strong and then it just completely tapered off. It was one of those brands that I thought was going to carry weight forever, but they cranked out so much stuff. DVD box sets and specials and board games, and then they had the slot machine, and then they had this. This is a $20 bill on Amazon with an $11 take home. I paid $1 for it, and again, if it wasn't an easy scan in, I'd probably leave it behind. I picked up another plushie. I got a good handful of plushies, and I can't complain. A cute owl, real adorable piece. The brand on this one is Mary Meyer. It says the product's name is Swoop. I paid $1 for this one too. I really appreciate the high quality construction on this piece. Sorry, I had fluff flying around, got some on my tongue. Really high quality construction on it. It's probably going to be another $20 bill on this. Again, didn't even look it up, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some decent money there on that one. And then also got this flippin' adorable young girls, I don't know what you call these. Is it a Laplander? One of these types of hats with the little strings, tassels on the side. Really clean condition. Probably never used. I'm going to assume $15 to $20 again. And I hate to use these just baseline assumptions, but I think I've been doing this long enough. I can't be that far off the mark. If anything, it's going to be worth more, but at $1, it's just kind of a snap buy. It's just kind of what you got to do. So here's the other stuff I got. While I was in Fresno, I met up with a client. I've been trying to meet up with him for close to 2 months now, but the scheduling's just been really screwed up. I picked up an N64 off of him, as well as a host of games. Now, Rick knows what I'm talking about when I showcase this item, but a lot of you don't. This video game console is worth a little bit more because it has this red piece inside of here. Normally there is what looks like a remote control style lid on top, and with these red pieces inside, as long as they're authentic, this is about a $25 to $35 bill, just depending on the climate and if the market wants them at the time, but that really helped bump the value. This on its own is probably worth about $60 right now. And Richard's right, it's called an expansion pack is what they call them. And you do want to make sure they're authentic. And then I picked up a good handful of games. If you don't know much, God, I'm just dropping stuff everywhere. If you guys don't know much about video games and you got to do blind buying, you pretty much the 5 that you want to remember is going to be Mario, Pokemon, Mega Man, Zelda, and probably Metroid. Those are probably going to be your go-to staples. Mario, Pokemon, Mega Man, Zelda. Yeah, those are the 5. So, got a Zelda, got a Bug's Life. This one I believe is about $20-25. Picked up a Mario Party 2. These ones are running for around $40 to $45 right now. MRC, it's a $5 game. Pokemon Snap is probably creeping up closer to about $15. Last time I checked, Cart 64 was down to about $30 just because of all the counterfeit cartridges available online. Scooby-Doo is about a tenner. There is a color variation on this one that can be worth a few dollars more. Diddy Kong Racing is about $15. GoldenEye, if I had to take a guess, I'd probably say it's closer to about $20 right now. Majora's Mask, last time I checked, was around $40. And then I picked up a Rugrats. And again, another color variation on this one too. I think it's worth maybe $1 more with the correct color. I got all of this together. I paid $70. $70. I cannot complain regarding that one. So if you need N64 games and you want to buy some of these off me before I list them online, just let me know, and I'll be happy to sell them to you. Otherwise, they're all going straight to eBay or going out to the con. I'm going to showcase a couple more items, and I think I'm going to jump off air for tonight, guys. So, what do we got here? I picked this up, and I normally don't get records. This is actually a gift for Susan. She had her birthday a couple of weeks ago, and I got her a couple of items, and while I was out yesterday, I found this bad boy as well. And this is Mickey Mouse Disco, featuring such hits as Macho Duck and Watch Out for Goofy. And this is about $18 to $20 on Amazon. So finding it for $1 was a really good deal. I'm actually going to end up restoring this piece. It has a bit of separation across the top, a little bit of damage over here on the side, some tape work on the bottom. So I'm going to restore this up to as close to like new condition as I can. Then I'm going to get this back to Susan as well. Beth says she had this as a kid. Please don't send me weather models right now, okay? Like I do not need to see them. But I appreciate you. Here's the thing, guys. I appreciate you wanting to fight me, but I'm in the camp that says I would like to be an optimist and say that everyone is going to be fine in Florida. If you want to bet against me, okay, and you want to root on the side because you're in Florida and you have something to prove and you'd like to see the storm hit your land so that way you can say you lived through another hurricane, then by all means. But I'm telling you, okay, I'd like to be an optimist and tell you that everything's going to be A-okay. So, yeah. Great little piece, great artwork front and back. Let's take a look at a few more things, and then I'm going to jump off air. I picked these up at the same time. I don't know if it was the same person that dropped them off at the thrift store. These have a great return on investment. These are like $15, $20 a piece all day long. You need clearance on Amazon to sell one or both of these, but these things fly off the shelf. One of these had a rank of 101, which is exceptionally high within the video category as well. So always keep your eyes open for these if you find these brand new. These things fly off the shelves. I had a whole bunch of the micro cassette ones too. I picked up somewhere in the area of 40 or 50 units at 50 cents a pop and sold them all between $25 and $30 each. So great ones to pick up. And then I also got this too. Same thrift store. This is a set of Great Gears is what this one is. It's a, is that what that says? Yeah, Great Gears. This is a Tomy brain teaser puzzle type thing. With the original box, this is worth roughly about $20, maybe $15. The velocity isn't huge. Now, I didn't pay this price. I paid half that. I paid $2. And I just thought that this would be a good item for my store. I do believe it's going to sell. It's not going to sell right away. But it's one of those things, like, I know I'm going to make money on it eventually. It's just a matter of how long is it going to be before I do. So I'm going to show one last item that I got in massive quantity. And I found this to be interesting. We're going to do a little bit of a story and all that good stuff too. Give me one sec. I'm just reading comments here on the side. Yes, those cleaners bring in great money right now. Money for Mars. We got a question. Question, if listing something like jeans, do you use the tag size or the measure size for the item specific, and which video did you talk about that? That is going to be our Google SEO video from, I believe, 2 to 3 weeks ago. And it's going to be the one that has roughly 1,700 views on it. That's going to be the one that you're going to want to watch. And just so you know, I can answer that one quickly for you. Please go back and watch it anyways. We have a ton of ads on it. You're going to want in the item specifics to include the manufacturer's original size, but in the item condition notes include the variance on it, and you're probably going to want to put that variance within your description as well to ensure that you are covered on that sale. So just put it in two places so you are covered. Okay, so I was inside of a Goodwill, and I was wandering around. I was there with Emily. We were doing a little bit of a day trip out in Fresno. We did some rock climbing. We did some thrifting. We sat down with Susan, had a good dinner. It was a fantastic time. And I'm in there, and I bump into a fellow thrifter. He literally looks over my shoulder and gives me crap because I'm on my cell phone looking something up. I look back at him, and I'm like, oh, hey, it's you. And I don't know why. When I was living in Fresno, I'd run into this guy once a week. I don't know how I saw him so often, but at least once a week I'd run into this guy. And we were always thrifting, and I would stop and I would chit-chat with him and see how he was doing. And while I was there at the store, I had told Emily, I'm like, there's a few things that we look for while we're sourcing, you know, like certain types of things within media, certain types of things within like board games. And there's one thing that we're always looking for, and that's quantity. If we find something in quantity, we almost always stop and look it up, unless we already know it's a dead item. If I see 30 of something, I am much, much, much more willing to make $2 or $3, $4 a unit if it's a high velocity item and I can do one listing and push 30 items out the door. Why the heck not? And these are some of the things that I trained her with or taught her as we were out there working together. And I was talking with this guy, and he had just finished up his circuit of the store, and we were walking down the aisle, and I told her, I'm like, well, we're probably already done here. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I'm behind this guy, so I'm like, if there's anything else up there, he probably already got it. And this is a seasoned seller of about 20, 25 years. And I stop and I'm working on something else, and she's like, hey, I found something over here, and there's like 17 of them. I'm like, really? Cool. And I wander on over, and what do we find? We find these. And I look them up, and these are Beanie Baby official TY heart protectors. Okay. And this is what the unit looks like inside of the packaging. You get 12 of these inside of here. And I don't know if I'm going to find out right now. I don't know if they were dumb and they cut the package open, took one out of the package, and then taped to the front, or if they were smart and they destroyed 1 or 2 units and used those units to place examples on the front of them. So let me pop this open really quick and see what we have going on. So we actually have a retail style standee. Yep, nope, they were stupid, I think. 2, 4, yep. So they did basically, they took one out of each and every one and then taped it to the front, opposed to opening one and then placing that unit on the front of the other one, so you would actually get 13. But that's fine, that's fine. You know, we'll get these cleaned up. But yeah, I looked them up online, and what's real crazy about these is I've seen these before, and I didn't really give much thought to them. But as I started looking them up, I learned that people are still buying these. They're buying these individual ones anywhere between $10 to $15, and I've seen these boxes sell anywhere between $100 to $150 a box. Okay? It's insane. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, Jay, how much money did you pay for these? This is what gets really wild about it. If you look at that price tag right there. Okay? And I didn't just get one, okay? I even dropped one right now. I have 17 more of these boxes downstairs, okay? And they're all complete. So I have 17 boxes, even at $100 a box. That's $1,700 minus the $17 off the face value, okay, and then minus my fees and ship. You're looking at like a $1,500 return on investment, which is insane. Absolutely wacko, bonkers money to be stumbling across for these tags. So yeah, people are asking, yeah, they're little tags that snap, you know, the TY Beanie Babies, they have that little heart for their tag. It's a protector that snaps across the front and the back so you don't crease your tag. It's the stupidest thing ever, but Uber collectors want to keep them in good shape. Now, here's the thing. I know what you're saying. She's a keeper. She's definitely a keeper in her own regard. She wasn't even, like, she's excited, but she really wasn't excited. Like, you know, that reseller buzz that, I guess the best way to call it is like they call it like degen tingles, like when you're being like an absolute degenerate and like you get excited about, you know, that like that casino style rush, you know, like when you do a $100 hand of blackjack and you happen to hit 21 and you get those degen tingles. That's the kind of feeling that you get as a reseller sometimes when you stumble across these copious amounts of money on absolutely ridiculous items. And I don't think she felt that. Okay. And Richard says, that deserves a nice gift for her. You know what? I've actually spoiled her. I think I made her dinner 25 out of the last 30 nights of the month. And she's gotten flowers, and she got a lovely day trip yesterday. And yeah, no, I've taken really good care of her. So no worries on that front. No worries there. And Rick says, nice pickup. Yeah, it's an absolutely great one. I'm thrilled to have them. I got a whole bunch of them. And I'll keep you posted as they start selling. I'll let you know what's going on with them. So because I know everyone is dealing with the storm tonight, I don't want to keep any of you up any longer than I need to. So we're going to be wrapping up a little bit quicker than normal tonight. I'd like to find a way to make these shows just a smidge shorter if possible. Maybe even doing 2 days out of the week, so that way we can tighten things up just a little bit. So last week, guys, we wrapped up the show talking about improving the quality of life through very small things. And I really hope that some of you took some of my advice to heart, even if it was just 1 or 2 of you went and did something to ease life for you moving forward. And it doesn't even have to be major things, but just stupid things that can help you be more efficient and save time and live a happier and simpler life. And this week, I wanted to talk to you about work motivation, because when I'm a climber, and I do my rock climbing, we have a thing called climber motivation. And sometimes if you're not in the right mood and you're not in the right mindset, it's very difficult to get back on that wall again and do any of your climbing. Here, let me turn this music up a little bit. I really want to be able to appreciate this with you guys. There we go. So having that motivation can be exceptionally difficult. And one of the things that I often have to remind people of is that you didn't necessarily start this business with challenges in mind. Okay, things are going to be tricky. There's going to be things that are completely outside of your control that you're simply going to have to deal with. Tax law changes, liability law changes, increases to postal rates, the negative stigma of being a reseller. All of these things are happening, and you have virtually no impact on them. Like, obviously you can pick up a phone and call a congressman, but we just kind of have to deal with these things, okay? The process is going to be difficult, but it's important to not lose sight of the reward, the goal, the whole purpose that we started this thing to begin with. Okay? If I came into this with the false belief that one of these days wasn't going to be a difficult one, that would be foolish. We have to understand that the difficult days are going to come, and that's what's going to help us appreciate the good days. There's going to be some balancing there, but do not let those difficult days be the reason that you give up on your goals. Don't let that be the reason that you drop the things that actually matter to you. Don't lose sight of them because of the challenges. So if you haven't laid out good goals for yourself, start doing that now. And I say start with some easy ones, start with some short-term ones, and ask yourself, what is it going to take for you to be motivated to accomplish more this week? Some people are motivated by food. Maybe reward yourself with a really nice steak dinner at the end of the week. Maybe you're motivated by a trip. Maybe work a little bit harder and at the end of the month, go on a nice day trip, or even a 2 or 3 day trip if you have some great scores. And some of you are motivated by more than that, and you have your eye on the big picture. Me, when I started making some of the biggest changes in my life, I started being more concerned about my health, and I started being more concerned about the people around me. I was looking at the big picture in life. I decided that I wanted to become a better person, not only for myself, but those around me. And I wanted to be able to achieve things and do it in a great way, to be respected and appreciated for the work that I've done. My goals are huge and ambitious, and they are to be able to make everyone's lives who watch this program just a little bit better, and to be able to give a little bit something extra to society. So formulate your goals, continue to push for them, and don't lose sight of them. Forgetting your goals is one of the easiest things to do and the quickest ways to derail your entrepreneurial ship. If you need a community to work with, please join our Facebook group. If you say, Jay, I really want to be a part of your Patreon and I really don't have the money right now. I'm a hard worker and I believe what I do and I know I'm going to go far in this business and I just need a helping hand, reach out to me. I will sponsor anyone who wants to come and try this program out and be a part of what we're doing. But if you'd like to join in for less than $1 a day, support the show and get the community help as well, we'd be happy to have you. Guys, next week's show is going to be a very interesting one. We're going to be doing the eBay seller update. Please tell your friends and family to come be a part of it. Anyone that you know that is a reseller will want to tune in. These seller updates are just as important as our postal service updates when we have rate changes, which have been confirmed for January. So if nothing else, come watch next Sunday's video. Come watch a video in January, introduce some new people to my channel. And if you can't do anything, and you say, Jay, I really love what you do, but I just don't have a penny to spare, tell somebody about our channel, share our video on your timeline, write down the link on a piece of paper and mail it to your mother. Let her know that you care, okay? But that's everything I have for you today. And next week, we're going to be doing a little birthday bash too. If you missed it during the pre-roll, go back and watch that. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I promise you, mark my word this time, I will have a new outro next week. I guarantee it. But for now, I really have nothing else for you. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and have yourself a very wonderful evening. This has been the Sunday Reseller Roundup for September 1st, 2019. Remember, if you don't make that money, someone else will. Have a wonderful evening.